Hey everyone, welcome to my podcast. My name is Michaela. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Dean Winchester's Big Three astrology. I will do another episode of Sam's. I personally think the writers nailed it with these two characters. I don't know if these characters were based off of real life people that they knew or if it just happened to work out. There are, of course, a couple of things I disagree with. However, overall, I think they did a great job. So real quick, let's go over what a Big Three in astrology is. It is the sun, the moon, and the rising. The sun is where the sun is when you are born. Most people know their sun sign or their zodiac sign, as some will call it. It specifically goes by your birthday and is the same for every year. The sun in astrology represents who we are, our identity, our personality, our ego even. The moon sign changes every 2 to 3 days. Sometimes it can change. There can be two signs for one day. However, both Sam and Dean were born on a day where the moon stayed in the same sign. The moon represents our emotions, our instinct, our roots, and our mother or a relationship with our mother. Or sometimes it's the dominant parent if your mother wasn't a part of your life. The rising sign or the ascendant is the zodiac sign that was rising over the eastern horizon at the precise moment and location of your birth. This changes about every 2 to 3 hours per day. It really just depends on your location. The rising sign or ascendant is what has to do with how the outside world sees us, first impressions, how we interact with others, our physical appearance. The rising sign also is the ruler of your chart. It sets up the rest of the houses in the chart. Each house, there are 12 houses, and each house is a different area of life that is affected. For example, two people can have a Gemini sun, both be born on the same day, and have the same sun to the same degree. But one of them, if their sun is in a first house sun, their identity is going to be more about them and their personal issues. If somebody has a seventh house sun, they're going to be more about their identity is going to be more about relationships and the people around them. So I did not have Sam and Dean's time of birth, so I actually don't know their rising. I am guessing based on what I think, what I know about astrology, which isn't much. I am not a professional. I am solely doing this for fun. Feel free to chime in, professionals or non. So I'm going to get started with Dean's sun sign. As we know, Dean is an Aquarius. He likes long walks on the beach. I'm just kidding. I don't remember word for word what he says, but he is an Aquarius. Aquarians are very humanitarian. We save the world type of people. We're going to stand up for what is right. They are the people who make protests about the environment and about any social injustice that they see fit. Truly, Aquarians feel better when they are, saving people, hunting things, the family business. Not necessarily hunting things, but they want to save something. They want to right the wrongs in the world, and they don't feel right if they don't have a purpose. A lot of times, Aquarians will be emotionally detached. They are able to think about things analytically and take the emotion out of it. A lot of Aquarians also cope with dark humor.
Don't objectify me.
Because that is how they know how to deal. They are freedom fighters and trendsetters and rebellious by nature. A lot of Dean's Big Three is very rebellion-like, and I love it because, he fights God. He stands up to everything that is wrong. Well, he does follow his dad's order. That is his family. They're also very loyal. So people who have done them right or they consider to be their family, they will follow, they will protect. They are very loyal. They also appreciate somebody who respects the need for freedom, and they don't like the feeling of being restricted. They are never in one spot for too long. They are very restless souls. They are extremely innovative people as well. Think about Dean in season 1 when Sammy says, that looks like a beat up Walkman EMF maker. He's like, yeah, man, it is. I made it out of this old Walkman. And he's like so proud of it. And it's pretty cool. A lot of Aquarians are inventors or trendsetters, leaders. They start movements. They initiate things and they get things done. They can come off as cold or harsh or make jokes about themselves to feel better, but that's who they are. And this is pretty much the description of Dean Winchester in a nutshell, but we're going to get deeper into his moon sign and rising sign. Please guess what you think Sam and Dean's rising sign is down below. Dean's sun happens to be in the 6th house of habits and health. Big focus on routine, health, etc. 6th house suns find purpose in being useful and capable. They are energized by the meaningful routines and the sense of purpose that comes from helping others. Again, Dean Winchester to a T. Now we're going to talk about Dean Winchester's moon sign. All day on January 24th, 1979, in Lawrence, Kansas. It was in the sign of Sagittarius, and Dean's happens to fall in his 4th house, which a 4th house moon is very at home for the moon. That's where it belongs. I absolutely love that he's a Sagittarius moon. Sagittarians are also pretty restless souls. They like travel and adventure. They can also be pretty rebellious. Sagittarian moons are pretty driven by a goal or a mission that gives their life meaning. We're going back to this whole saving people, hunting things. They truly enjoy traveling or sports. You might be a bit of a risk taker or gambler, and we see that specifically with gambling and in non-gambling situations that Dean Winchester is a risk taker. They're pretty spontaneous, and they don't always think things through, but they usually do it out of the goodness of their heart. And literally, Dean Winchester says this. And like I said before, the 4th house has to do with your dominant parent, your emotional bond, family roots, instincts, etc. The moon also has to do with all of those elements. So his moon is in the 4th house. For me, him having a 4th house moon is a no-brainer. He has strong emotional ties to his family or people that he considers his family because, as we know, family doesn't end in blood, but it doesn't start there either. 4th house moon people often carry the emotional legacy of their ancestors or upbringing. And this happened somehow consciously and subconsciously. His mother was a hunter. His father became a hunter due to his mother's death, which none of them even knew she was a hunter. A lot of times they are the anchor of their family. We see how when Dean is a child, even, he is responsible for his dad's emotions and his dad's things. He really holds his family together. He is there for Sammy every fucking time in any situation. It doesn't even matter what Sam did. Unconditional love all the way through. And while he is less forgiving to some other people, he eventually comes around for anybody who shows up for him or acts like family towards him. And the other thing that I really like about him being a Sagittarius moon in the 4th house is that, Sagittarian moons really like to move around a lot and they really like to travel, while 4th house moons really like a sense of security or a sense of a safe home. For me, this really makes baby extra special because she travels and she has always been a safe home for him, and just the way that he loves her, it's very almost like she's a real person, which she is, to him at least. And I think that is so true for him because that's what he needs. He needs safety, a safe home, and he needs the ability to be free and travel. And I think that's a big part of where this attachment comes from, other than the fact that it's been in his family for all this time. It was something he really did with his dad, family, and he's the one who made him buy it. I think that his moon sign is absolutely perfect for him. Those two things for canon. Now we're going to move to rising. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Dean Winchester's ascendant or rising sign. It is the ruler of your chart. I decided that he was born at 7:34 p.m. on his birthday, making him a Leo rising. What do you guys think? Meaning his entire chart is ruled by the planet the sun. They are looking for love, admiration, and applause, and we see this quite a lot with Dean. They want to be the center of attention. Potentially Leo risings really come off as egotistical, but like Leos, they love deeply and are also very loyal. They can be very stubborn at times though, but their presence is very magnetizing. It's like you can't help but watch the show, you know? And as much as I do love every character in this show, Dean definitely carries a lot of the show and makes it a little more interesting at times. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but it does happen to be true. A 6th house sun is a very humble but powerful path, and he learns a lot. He becomes very humbled very quickly growing up as a hunter after the events of his mother's death, and really just being the caretaker of his family, including his father, at times. I mean, that was never his responsibility and never should have been, but he did it way more than he should. I'm glad John apologizes to him, but it doesn't make it right, obviously. I also think Leo rising is why Dean gets really excited to put on different outfits and enjoys that part of his job as well, because Leos like to look the part. They like to be the center of the stage. And Leo risings, especially like the sun is in Aquarius, they really attract friendships pretty naturally. They tend to test boundaries, ideas, beliefs. And we see that with Team Free Will and Free Will 2.0. Let's go. So I think Dean's big three, the two canon, moon, and sun signs fit him very well as the rising I have chose for him. Let me know what you guys think. Come back and I will do a natal chart of Sam Winchester's big three. I was going to do them both today, but I decided against it. I'm kind of running out of time, and it's okay to just do one of them, even when you prefer to do both. And that sounded totally wrong, and it might have been intentionally. Thanks for the follow. I hope you guys enjoyed this little podcast. It was just for fun purposes. I am not a professional astrologer for the umpteenth time.